Andor began as something that no one wanted, and now it's turned into something where a lot of people are considering whether it's now part of what is the best trilogy in Star Wars. I absolutely want to talk about Andor Season 2. Hi, my name's Drew and welcome to another review video on Flying Wiener. It's really quite funny, I did the same thing with Andor Season 2 like I did with Season 1. I'll leave a link to my review for Season 1 at the end of this video, by the way. It's really funny. I watched Season 1, watched it nearly all the way through, sort of thought, I'm not quite getting this because I wasn't paying fully attention. Watched again from the start, I was like, oh right, it's a slow burn, you really need to pay attention to stuff, you really need to settle down and, watch it in the correct mindset, etc. At least that was my experience. And then absolutely loved Season 1. That one episode with the prison break and Andy Serkis's character, really amazing stuff. Among other things, but that really to me was the standout in the first one. So I watched Season 2, they released them in sort of 3-episode packages, got to the third package, watched it, I was like, yeah, no, this is good, but I'm still not quite getting some of the things, right? So I was like, okay, let's go back and watch again. And this time, and I even rewatched Season 1 to get just, the full experience. And I would actually recommend this to you as well, because a lot of things in Season 2, a lot of things click a lot better if you've just seen Season 1, because you get a lot more references, you notice a lot more connections. It's really cool, it's really well made. So I watched it again and I watched all the way through to the end, and it's absolutely magnificent. And like many people have done once it ended, I went on to watch Rogue One, right? Which, if you're not familiar, is a film that came out in 2016, and Andor is a prequel series to Rogue One. Rogue One, to me, is actually a really good film. I really enjoyed it. Possibly enjoyed it the most out of the new Disney Star Wars films, so even including the new big trilogy, etc. Really liked it, and like most people, I was like, okay, they're making a prequel series, bit weird, but fine, let's go with it. And now it turns out that this might possibly be the best thing that Star Wars ever done. And just the thought of taking a story that was fun, we had a lot of really interesting characters in Rogue One, no one quite knew any backgrounds, I was like, okay, very cool. And then to say, like Tony Gilroy did, the writer of Andor, the main writer, he said, right, I've got this idea for a backstory. Let me tell this story about how the Empire actually became evil. Or not became evil, but how the galaxy wisened up to it being evil, and then, leading into rebellion, and how did that all come together, etc. And it is absolutely magnificent. We start out with Andor, he's a bit selfish. Season 1, he's just focused on himself, he's looking for his sister, etc. He gradually gets dragged into all this, and then we see this play out, and especially in Season 2, we really see how evil the Empire is, how it's trying, and there's a lot of hints to current events in this world, which you'll all be very familiar with, how fascism creeps in, what it does, propaganda, spin doctoring, all these things, when you're trying to always create an enemy for people, just to distract from yourself and all the stuff, especially horrid stuff you're doing. And it's done so well, and you're watching, you're like, at times you're like, this is too real, this is happening right now in parts of the world, it's very sad, of course, but to think that we've got this just high class entertainment really just showing this in front of our eyes is absolutely amazing. Anyway, so yes, I've sort of already started, but to give you the actual plot of the second season. So like I said, they release them in sort of these 3-episode batches, and we do have some time jumps as well. Here we are seeing Cassian Andor, the main character. He has adopted a lot more of a leadership role now, so he's not just a little guy. He's really sort of, he's officially part of the rebellion. He's there. He's actually one of the leaders of it in that sense. We see him doing sort of like, let's call it special ops stuff, so he's really already comfortable now also with just being an actor and playing roles and all these kind of things. You've got Luthen still there. He is obviously still doing a lot on his own. He is still orchestrating a lot of the stuff. Everyone's still quite unaware of, what is what his aims are, his goals are. Can we fully trust him? That's the one aspect you've got. So the guy still in the shadows pulling the strings. And what fascinates me is all of these guys before Rogue One, you know, they're so integral to the plot to then go into A New Hope and the Death Star and destroying it, and obviously the downfall of the Empire, etc. We've not heard anything about them. And basically the people in the Star Wars universe don't know about them. You know, like Luthen, he is in the shadows, right? You know, Stellan Skarsgård's character, he's saying like, I'm doing this to better the situation for all of humanity. I won't live to see it, but I'm still going to do it. I'm going to burn myself just to make sure that everyone else has a bright day to wake up to. And it's really cool stuff, really inspiring stuff, you know, obviously very scary stuff as well, because you're putting your life on the line. We've got Mon Mothma, who is a character that we see go on to be in other Star Wars things, you know, where we see this more official political side of everything, where you see her in the Parliament, the Galactic Parliament, the Senate, sorry, it's called the Senate, where we see her struggles trying to get people to, you know, notice what's going on and trying to somehow support the rebellion, etc., and finding that difficult. We also see the Empire side, so we see a lot of that, the ISB, the security forces as they're called, I think. Keep forgetting what the ISB is an abbreviation for, never mind. But we see them truly, you know, like we know from history books, as an example, the Nazis, bureaucrats, right? They're all just, got their paragraphs and everything, and they're just so surgical, you know, just really just methodical approach to everything. And like I said, with spin doctoring and sort of playing populations against each other and trying to just really exploit every situation they can, because the main plot of the second series is that you've got Krennic, who is the director who builds the Death Star. He also appears in Rogue One. He is after this mineral, or actually the Emperor is after this mineral on the planet of Gorman. We've heard of Gorman before, they're briefly mentioned in season 1. But yes, they're after this, right? And so out of in their point of view, the easiest way to do it is to just turn the whole galaxy against Gorman and just really completely mine the whole planet for this stuff. And that's where they sort of build the distrust of the galaxy against Gorman, and we see the people on Gorman noticing this, trying to just, you know, clear their name, etc., etc. And this all gets gradually more difficult. What I really like about this Empire side of it, you see, because basically, especially here in the second season of Andor, Krennic, he is the big bad, right? You see how he's lording it over everyone. And what you realise is in the Empire, there's always a bigger fish. There's always someone who's just really treating this person who you think is the worst as badly and as lowly a servant as they have treated everyone. So this is really funny. So in the show, like I say, Krennic, he's the big bad, and he treats all of these people that we think are really, really bad. He treats them like they're idiots, etc. Only for then in Rogue One, slightly spoilery, I suppose, you see Grand Moff Tarkin, who is the sort of admiral, I'll call it the big admiral of the Empire ships, etc. He treats Krennic like this lowly guy. He was this big baddie in Andor, and then we moved to Rogue One, and he's just a little guy. And then they're all bullied by Darth Vader, you know. And that's really fascinating. It really shows how. Also, they are so twisted that just because they are treated badly, they will immediately, you know, pass all of this bad stuff on to the next subordinate underneath them, etc. So you see so many things. If you watch this with eyes open, it's really fascinating. It's so well done. And then you could also talk about the acting. You've got a great group of actors, the storylines, you know, just the whole production value of it all looks amazing. You've got great music as well, and the characters are really fascinating, really interesting. The chemistry between them, if they're supposed to have any on screen, you know, it works. Makes you really feel for them. And you must not forget, a lot of these characters, we know they're going to die. And that was really an achievement, to go out there, take these characters who we know are killed, quite a lot of them, if not all of them, in Rogue One, and to say, I'm going to make you care about them even more. And then it gets even crazier because, I mean, you do really care for them. And then you watch Rogue One, and they even manage to tie in so many things where in the original Rogue One, let's say Cassian would say something and you'd be like, oh, okay, well, that's interesting. I don't know quite what he's trying to get at here, etc. Now all these lines make sense and you suddenly discover a certain motivation that you only know because of Andor. So it takes Rogue One and it elevates it even more because it gives so much context to how Cassian behaves, for instance, in certain situations and how he reacts to different things. And it absolutely makes sense because of Andor, and that is really quite an achievement. So yes, quite possibly, I don't know, I would have to rewatch the original trilogy, but I will say Return of the Jedi to me is quite a low point. I really don't like the bloody Ewoks. It was fun as a kid. It's like, oh yeah, this is fun. Nowadays, if you watch it, you're like, bloody hell, it is quite something, isn't it? I mean, it really is. It's the low point of the original trilogy, there's not a doubt, right? Anyway, I would have to rewatch it, but I currently, I'm also of the opinion, if you take Andor Season 1, Andor Season 2, and Rogue One, that is an incredible trilogy. It might be the best we've got in Star Wars right now. And then you can obviously, from Rogue One, immediately go on to watch A New Hope, and then that is elevated by all of the stuff we have seen. Really an incredible job. This is how it should be done. I mean, Star Wars, yes, it's not just about the Jedi, so please give us more stories like this. I mean, it's a huge galaxy, so why not? Yeah, I think that's all I'll say. It's a glowing review. Andor really is as good as you've been hearing. So if you've got Disney Plus, go out there and watch it because it really deserves it. But take your time, pay attention to it, and really follow the journey, and you'll be rewarded so heavily for the whole thing. That'll be all from me today. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe. It is the best way to support this channel. Leave a comment down below about anything you want to say about Andor, Star Wars, Rogue One. Opinions. Anything you want to say, put it down in the comments below. I'll thank you for watching this video and I'll see you in the next one on Flying Wiener. Take care.